Well, in news just in, the uMkhonto Sizwe party has confirmed that its member was gunned down on Saturday in Umlazi township. This is in KZN. The party says 5 more members were injured in the shooting. And let's get a sense now of exactly what the situation is, or under what circumstances did this happen. And we speak now to the MK spokesperson, Nhlamulo Ndlela. Mr. Ndlela, good evening to you and thank you for your time. Are you able to explain to us in brief as to the circumstances that led to the shooting and indeed your member who has now died as a result?
Can you hear me, Colin?
Yes, now you are audible. Please talk to us. Tell us what happened.
Good evening, Colin, to yourself as well as your listeners. And thank you for the opportunity for us to, give the nation a sense of what is actually transpiring regarding political intolerance. What transpired here is we had a program, and more so comrade with Mozi, and we need to correct the following. It's Blessed and Tuli, who had come back from a program, one of our programs, when he arrived home, was relaxing at home. There was a scuffle, and he had shooting and gunshots outside of his home. And just as would any other, community member, he went out to see what was going on, to observe, only to find that there were people that had been shot. And it would seem that off the back of that, a scuffle then ensued. And, he was then attacked and shot and killed. Again, as I've mentioned, it was really a violent situation. It escalated to violence and initiated also by, effectively political intolerance.
When you say it is as a result of political intolerance, that is a very loaded statement, particularly for the period in which we are in. That requires for people like yourself who are in the politics sphere to be very measured when you either dealing with such an incident or you are at a rally and you are talking about a fellow political party. When you say this is as a direct result of political intolerance, it prompts a question about where would that intolerance have come from, because it means that there is inter-party violence or conflict. Is there?
Well, the reality, Claudia, and I think you coined it quite well when you say that leaders of political parties, especially in such a sensitive era such as elections, ought to really be mindful and be measured in terms of how they communicate and what they say. The last time when you and I were in studio, you asked me a question off the back of what, in this case, a fellow who is a leader of a political party in KZN, who made all sorts of comments which incited violence in their nature, including a senior minister who went and said President Zuma must burn, or be buried rather. So those kind of comments can only fuel such elements of violence and intolerance. And that's why, even in Opongola, as you would have seen what happened, what transpired there when ANC members, who are very senior, by the way, one of them is a member of the provincial legislature, the other one was a leader of the party at a regional level. They were the ones that went and attacked our people and ripped that gazebo off, which obviously led to us opening up a case. And this is also, as we've mentioned, off the back of what seems to be desperate acts for politicians to try and maintain their position, forgetting that they're actually leading society. I mean, it's very disturbing, Coley. I mean, just also off the back, if I may, of the conversation that you just had with the education experts. The mere fact that we're having discussions about, guns at schools, it's totally unheard of. We shouldn't be. Our society is totally skewed. But that is the case when leaders of political parties, leaders in government, start making comments such as bury or comments that incite violence.
Yeah.
So it's really, really sad.
All right.
This is where we're at.
Let's conclude the conversation then. The people that were affected in this incident, so we know of one party member who has sadly lost his life. How many other people were affected in this incident? And what are police saying about the motive for this killing?
So naturally, at this point, we are still assessing and, going through an investigative process and collecting as much information as we can. I wouldn't want to share too much right now for fear of not, reporting correctly or pointing fingers where they ought not to be pointed. Mm-hmm. But one thing we can confirm is that there was political intolerance. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We'll definitely share with the public exactly what transpired in more detail, and obviously work in unison with the police. So
which political party are you accusing of being intolerant?
Slowly, I'm not going to be pointing fingers at this point and say which political party or that particular member or individual that pulled the trigger came from, or the perpetrators. At this point, it's a matter of us getting down to the bottom of exactly what transpired, and then obviously report accordingly, in unison with the police, of course.
All right. Nhlamulo Ndlela, let me thank you very much for your time, spokesperson for the newly formed MK Party.